Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, Stacey real mad, Stacey angry, is what I'm assuming Stacey Abrams sounds like behind closed doors as she receives this devastating news. But for real though, Stacey Abrams is pissed. Her entire legacy is that of failure. If you really think about it, I mean, Democrats prop her up as a patron saint. They literally pray to Stacey Abrams as if she's some sort of deity. And no, that's not a joke. This really exists. But Stacey Abrams' entire legacy, her entire career, is that of failure. One massive, big, fat L. And it's really no mystery. I mean, it seems to be a mystery only to her and her supporters. Stacey Abrams, of course, having a history of refusing to accept basic reality, that she's not as popular as she thinks she is outside of leftist circles and Twitter. It took her a real long time to accept the fact that she lost her 2018 election. There's a whole lot of cope when it comes to Stacey Abrams, a whole lot of confusion. How could Stacey Abrams possibly lose? She's so popular, she's so grand, she's so incredible, but it's really no mystery at all. Because the stances that she takes, the identity that she crafts for herself, is garbage. I mean, her claim to fame, the big thing that shot Stacey Abrams to stardom, was her activism against voter ID. She's flip-flopped a couple times, but really, we know what voter suppression really is. We've even heard it out of her own mouth. Voter suppression, according to her, is the enforcement of having to prove your identity before you vote in a democratic election. How incredibly stupid. No wonder Stacey Abrams continues to fail. Because what kind of stance is that? What kind of political position is that? I believe that it is racist and discriminatory and voter suppression to hold up this standard that people should have to show something as basic as a driver's license in order to vote. What? What are you saying? Oh, because my blacks people and stuffs. What? Are you okay? In what universe does that make sense? It was a dumb hill to die on. And now Stacey Abrams is trying to rebrand herself as an abortion activist, advocating for this medical procedure all the way up to 9 months. And again, it's no wonder. There's no confusion here as to why Stacey Abrams' career is one massive, big, fat L. It's as clear as day, it's obvious. There's no denying it. It's because her stances are simply bad, to keep it in layman terms. Bad stance, illogical, lose support. The world of politics isn't really complicated if you think about it. But anyways, I'm going on a little bit of a monologue here in the intro. The point is that Stacey Abrams has suffered another massive L, and well, she's kind of having a little bit of a meltdown over it. But in the end, I have the same reaction. I'm not exactly confused. I don't get why there's any confusion on this topic. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, friends, so take a look at this. Federal judge upholds Georgia election integrity initiative, including voter ID. Stacey Abrams upset the most. Stacey, a fetal heartbeat at 6 weeks as a manufactured sound Abrams, Democrat candidate for Georgia governor, was delivered a blow by a federal judge on Friday. U.S. District Judge Steve C. Jones issued a ruling that Georgia's election integrity practices, such as voter ID and citizenship checks, are legal and constitutional. The Washington Post goes into more detail. Federal judge upholds Georgia election law in challenge brought by Abrams. Abrams' group filed a lawsuit against Georgia's Secretary of State soon after her 2018 election defeat, arguing that Georgia's absentee ballot policies, which require an exact match for names and addresses between voters' IDs and voter registration records, represents gross mismanagement of the state's election system that violated Georgia voters' constitutional rights. A federal judge ruled in favor of the state, however, saying that the law was valid and that the burden on voters is relatively low. And that is exactly correct. This idea that elections should be made less secure is absurd. I've maintained the same stance since the start. If you can't do the basic little tasks that are necessary to participate in democracy, like updating your address, registering to vote, having an ID that has the same legal matching name that you registered to vote with, then you don't deserve to vote. Some people say that's harsh, but no. If you can't do the basics, then how are you to be trusted to participate in the electoral process? In a certain way, it's not a right, it's a privilege, or it's a right that needs to be earned. You don't just get to willy-nilly walk in and drop a vote. Being part of the democratic process requires a basic understanding of economic and social policy. It requires research, understanding candidates' platforms, not just being told orange man bad, and millions upon millions of people heading to the polls with no knowledge whatsoever and casting ballots for the first time because frankly they were scammed into thinking a certain way and voting for a specific party that has cultural power. As stated in the legal decision here, the burden is already low. You just got to do the basics and you got to do a little bit of research and try to understand what's happening, and then you can go and vote. And if you can't do the basic stuff that's required of an adult to participate in adult society, then no, you don't just get the right to cast a ballot for no reason at the cost of the integrity of the entire system. What a stupid notion, what a dumb idea. That uninformed people who are unwilling to do the basics should be catered to at the expense of voter integrity and election security makes no sense. And this is the hill that Stacey Abrams has chose to die on. It's another massive L in her career, and I find it so funny how her group filed this lawsuit after her 2018 loss. I'm sure it had everything to do with voter suppression and election integrity. It had nothing to do with changing the voter system so that she has a better chance or a better shot at winning, because we all know low voter integrity benefits one party. I'll just leave it at that. How completely ridiculous. The biggest complaint that I'm seeing from Stacey Abrams' group and all of these leftoids on Twitter is the whole address matching thing. They're making it seem as if it's a ridiculous standard to have to update your license with your new address after you move. I mean, again, this is basic adult responsibility stuff, and it has serious implications. It's really important. If you move out of the state and you no longer reside there, you shouldn't be able to cast a ballot there. Democrats are frankly just upset with election results. That's why this whole thing was started in 2018, and they know through history that looser voting requirements benefits them. And so that's what this is about, and it's once again leftoids taking advantage of sensitive racial topics and racial issues, taking advantage of America's history and sensitive cultural dilemmas in order to put themselves in positions of power. There's nothing ethical or compassionate. There's no social justice fight here. It's nothing but yet again another Democrat power grab, just like they're trying to do with illegal migrants. If they can't grant them amnesty to be able to vote in elections legally, well, they want to just get rid of voter requirements so anyone can vote. You could go to California on vacation to see Hollywood. You could be from anywhere in the world, and just as a tourist attraction, vote in the presidential election. How completely stupid. Now, obviously, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but honestly, if it really came down to it, I'm convinced that Democrats, or at least a decent chunk of Democrats, would support that. I mean, I don't even get the argument here. Having to show ID to vote is unconstitutional. What? Having to update your address and register with the right, proper, legal name is racist voter suppression. What? The stances that these Democrats are taking, open borders, abolishing the police, abolishing voter ID, abortion up to 9 months in the pregnancy, none of it makes sense. It's so ridiculous, and it's no wonder that the champion of many of these policies, Stacey Abrams, continues to be a big fat walking L. It's not racism or voter suppression. Your ideas just suck, and so people don't support you. If you want to win, provide more logical, sound ideas and policies. Don't change the voting system to benefit you through these frivolous lawsuits. It's absolutely clownish behavior. What was it, maybe a little bit over a year ago, we covered every single element of Georgia's election integrity bill. None of it, literally none of it, was discriminatory in the least. And so no wonder these lawsuits are failing one after another. And no wonder these Democrat candidates aren't picking up steam in their campaigns. 2022 Stacey Abrams most likely headed for another massive L, another one to add to the list, cementing her legacy as possibly one of the biggest losers in electoral politics. That's what I got for you guys though. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.